So next, we would like to welcome our co-founder Apollo to bring us Why Your Brain Needs Mastermind. 我们接下来呢，就是要让大家了解爱丽丝优秀的产品怎么跟刚才了解到这个 Connie 的传授的法则来一起结合，所以我们就来看到精彩的分享。Welcome Apollo， 欢迎。
Thank you. That was very interesting. I didn't understand much of what Connie has said, but I've listened to Connie speak many times, and she's always had a very inspirational and interesting way of being able to extract the most amount of performance. So Connie has been with this organization for a very long time, and she's been very loyal, and she's also been really serious about taking this seriously and really paying attention to how she can make sure that she stays sharp and she stays strong, especially in times like we're living in right now. First and foremost, I want to talk about today a little bit more around the nutrition, the way that the brain acts and reacts and interacts with different types of compounds. But on a more simplistic side, let's talk a little bit more about the reasons why people are in these states of brain fog, why they have challenges, just on the mechanics of getting into a good routine and a good habit of doing the right things at the right times in order to make sure that their brain is healthy. So as Dr. Ken has alluded and so many others, we understand now that the brain and our ability to use our brain consistently is really at a crossroads, right? So as we grow older, your ability to decipher information, your ability to understand what is happening around you, but more importantly, your ability to process these things and go beyond and above what you were doing before is a critical piece to making sure that what Dr. Ken said, making sure the brain stays elastic. And what that really means is when we think about the times when we're fatigued or we can't remember simple tasks and things, it's not just a simple fact of because you're growing old. Rather, it's got to do with a number of different lifestyle factors. And so something that I would describe to you as when we are at our peak, right? When we feel good and we feel strong and things are flowing at 1,000 miles an hour and we are able to process information very, very quickly. And then you've got the other days or the other times in your life where you feel like you've just got kind of this gray area, this fog, this no understanding of really what's happening around you. That's a challenging time. And what we're not fully aware of is that compound. So that feeling, those times when we have them more frequently, those compound with time if we're not putting in the right types of foods and rest and recovery into our minds. So I'll give you an example. For those of you who just believe that it's just all work and no recovery, I want to explain something that's very, very simple. Your work and your recovery really need to go hand in hand. So your ability to take your recovery just as seriously as you take your work are a huge, huge component. And it's you have to prioritize these things. And if you don't prioritize them, they're not going to happen. So I'm talking about active recovery, doing things that are going to speed up your return to what your baseline is, what you do when you feel good. Whether that is going for a walk, making sure that you're not eating too much sugar, making sure that you're having a balanced diet, whether you're doing some form of meditation, mindfulness, all of these components are a very, very, very big and powerful part of making sure that your cognitive focus and your ability to process information stays at an all-time high. Sleep is a huge factor. And so whether we're talking about exercise, meditation, mindfulness, incorporating some form of movement or sitting and just thinking and allowing yourself to breathe, doing something in those mechanisms is just halfway there. The other part, which is really important part, is our brain needs to absorb certain types of nutrients and get access to the right type of macronutrients, meaning the foods that we eat. And if the foods that you're eating don't have the optimum level of supplements or vitamins, minerals, whatever the kind of micronutrients that you're seeking for your mindset, if you're not getting them consistently, your brain, and you're not putting those things to work, your brain won't function the most optimal way. And, when this whole company began and we were talking about the different supplementations and the different types of products to put into these things, first and foremost, we as individuals, I'm always looking for ways to improve my mind, right? I'm looking for ways to grow, to personally develop, to enhance the way that I can think about challenges, turn them into opportunities, and just process information as a whole. And so what I realized very quickly was that the state of your mind and the health of your body are intrinsically tied. And you need to make sure that you take it seriously. So the inception and the idea around creating nutraceutical supplements or creating additions, these supplements to help your body and your brain react faster, recall memory at a greater a level and greater speed, process information and accelerate that process through a little bit quicker, and also just have this level of engagement that makes you have this slight energy boost, but also this consistent focus throughout the day. So if you're like me or anyone else who has had times where you don't feel like on top of your game, look, that's a part of being human. But the reality is you can control a lot of these mechanisms through the routine in the morning, through your routine in the evening, through the foods that you're eating, the sleep that you're getting. And then when you want to take it to the next level, I talked to you a little bit more around how do you level up? How do you go to the next level? How do you break through to really advance yourself into the next area of performance? And then that's where some of these products that everyone is talking about today really come into play. And so we're looking at dealing with a million different things coming at us at all times. The average attention span in 2006 was 36 seconds. The average attention span in 2010 was 14 seconds. The average attention span in 2017 is 7 seconds. Only 7 seconds people on average have the ability to focus on something. So the reason why I tell you that story is because our brains, through social media, through the addiction to their phones, through all these devices, it is creating a feedback loop to where we are getting very used to having answers at our fingertips, right? When was the last time you remembered someone's actual phone number, right? Everything you have is in your phone. And because of that, you don't have to work this mechanism very often. So if you're not doing the mental training, which, hopefully, some of you have worked with with Mr. Chen, and you are working and understanding that the mind is the single most important factor in all of this. You cannot make the right type of decisions if your mind is not fueled properly, if you're not resting your mind properly, if you're not giving it the oxygen that it needs, if it's not getting the right type of recovery and rest it needs to be at its absolute best. So I'll leave you with a couple of things. And, I was asked today to talk to you a little bit more specifically about the products, but most importantly, realize that in today's society, in 2020, looking forward to 2021, your brain, which is 2+ million years old, is still hardwired in the way to run from tigers and other types of scary animals. You're hardwired in your brain to react that way. But there's no more wild animals chasing us in these cities anymore. And your body and your mind need to react to the modern society of what is happening now. And this digital era requires you to think very quick, make decisions on a quick and fast basis, be able to process information very quickly. And if you want to grow your potential business or your potential goals or metrics you're using in your life, you need to level up. And that means taking all those points that I just talked about very, very seriously. So the tools that we have at our fingertips, the technology that we have to access wonderful supplements, amazing quality ingredients, to formulate something that's going to give you a great edge, you need to take this. This is something that's powerful. So I am a big believer of first fix the bigger problems, right? The bigger challenges. How do we look at these things? I'm not sleeping well. Let's fix that. I'm not eating well. Let's fix that. I don't have a great morning routine. Let's fix that. Oh, there's nothing to help yourself and your mind think faster and more aggressively in a way that's going to give you that chance to have success in whatever direction you're going. You also can do that in the same realm. So all these different components are really, really important and interesting. And what I want to help people realize and also kind of just touch base on, and I wrote a couple of notes here just for myself so I can talk to you about. This is a little bit off topic, but make sure that your day has something called a definition of done. And one of my good friends was talking about this the other day, and there was this research done by a Stanford psychologist that found that insufficient rewards, or reward that is just not something that is enticing to you, is just as much of a contributor to burnout as overworking is. And I know earlier on in this conversation, we were talking about burnout and overworking, but I want you to really understand what a real clear definition of what a win can look like, because that's what's going to start your day. So if this is the most important mechanism, how do you make sure this is fueled properly? How do you make sure this is and has the right type of recovery on a daily basis? That's up to you. That's your decision to do that. So creating a recipe, right? Imagine your brain is like this amazing restaurant, and you're creating this amazing recipe to make this amazing dish. And this dish is going to be able to help you make the best possible decisions. Well, on your writing down the recipe, you better make sure that the ingredients are the best, right? Everyone who's in Taiwan right now, if you're going to go get the best beef noodle soup, you want to make sure it has the best flavor. It's got the best ingredients. You know where everything is coming from. It's very tasty, all those things, right? Well, the recipe for your brain, the recipe for yourself and your health is very similar in the same realm. And so that's when it becomes very important to really decipher, to tell the difference between one ingredient and another, between another organization and this one. And something that I've been and I always stay very committed to is just the quality of work that we try to put out there. And I believe deeply in the power of the mind. I believe deeply in making sure that your mind is fueled properly, and everything that has been done, whether, you guys know who Holly Shing is. She's done an exceptional job at creating amazing products hand in hand. And these products are designed to help you elevate your life and elevate your game. So again, the control is in your hands. It's time to start leveling up. It's time to start breaking through and realizing that this still is the most important mechanism that we have in our life. And I believe you guys can do it. And I can't wait to see what you do in the next couple months.
OK，Thank you Apollo，谢谢 Apollo 带来的精彩分享。